So long as he's alive, I tremble. I shake. I'm the king. And yet I shake. Will no one rid me of this meddlesome priest? A priest who mocks me. Are all around me cowards, like myself? Are there no men left in England? It's my... It's too fast. Too fast. It's too...
That's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
Move to spare. Hold. When you're ready. On you.
Ready.
Move.
Up.
Move. Go.
Up. Hawkeye's here.
Hawkeye's here. Move it to the spare.
Spare, get ready. Spare, get ready.
You ready?
Shooters down. Shooters down.
Are we good? Shooters down. Are we good to move?
Shooters down. We're good to move.
Clear.
We're
Let's
clear.
move. Let's move.
We're clear.
Come on.
Let me get my shoes.
I got you, sir.
Let me get my shoes.
Hold that in your head. It's bloody.
So we got to move to the bus. Let me get my shoes.
Okay, my shoe down. My shoe.
Watch out.
Wait.
All right. Is this mic on? I got to make sure my mic's on. Okay. Well, it's July 15th. It's Monday. Happy Monday. I'm not sure. Something might have happened over the weekend. I'm not quite sure. Something might have happened this last Saturday. I don't know. You might not know it. If the media had its way, you might not know that something actually happened. I actually saw this live on TV. It was on the television in the next room. And somebody said, shots, they're shooting. And so I came out and saw this happening live. The assassination attempt on Trump, of course. And it's astounding that you've no doubt seen that CNN headline, Trump falls at rally. There's no way that could be a mistake. There's no way that that couldn't have been just, I guess, malicious, right? That they saw this and they decided to go with that headline immediately, as if they don't even have a reporter on the ground, because it had to be apparent. I mean, a man was shot and killed, as you know. headshot on some guy who's in the background, some rally goer. So there's just, there's no way that CNN didn't know. Yet somehow they ran that remarkable headline, like they're trying to embarrass themselves. But, all I know is I don't know what's going on. I have no idea. Obviously it's all very suspect. But, I refuse to simply immediately glom onto one or any theory. And all manner of malfeasance is possible. We should understand that nowadays. That, any sort of conspiracy is possible from any quarter. Not just the most likely quarter to be the CIA, Democrat, whatever the hell we want to call this. Yes, Thomas Trump is now a legend, and his remarkable elan and how he immediately knew what to do politically. It was a strange combination of courage and political cunning that nobody is capable of. But you have to think, I'm watching it and I'm thinking, my God, it's there are two things that are going to happen from this. On the left, people are going to say, and I'm sure there are people out there, not just on the left, just, the right is, I'm not a pro-Trump guy anymore. I guess I might have to vote for him now. I might just have to vote for him now after this. But just because, I have to bow to the power of that fist, that fist in the air. But I knew two things were going to happen, and that people are going to say, oh, it's a setup. It's too perfect. It is too perfect, right? Oh, it's a setup by the Trump side. We'll talk a little bit about the plausibility of that idea. And so, I haven't seen this, but, I expected people to talk about it's like a sociopathic level of political thinking to immediately go to that instead of thinking about the safety of you or the people around you. People think you have to be insane. I guess you would have to be a little crazy, but what he did there was so amazing. It's like he just won the election right there. Of course, don't count on it, guys. All he does is he assures that when they do steal it, if they do, and they certainly can and aren't above that sort of thing, but when they do steal it, now it's just going to be so implausible that, all the milquetoast characters out there, our ex-friends, I'm not going to mention their names, you know who they are, who like to, blithely insist that there's no chance the election was stolen. They're not going to have any ground to stand on. They're going to have to say, yeah, this is probably stolen, And it's, everybody keeps talking about civil war, but I don't know what it would take for an actual civil war to erupt. And you have to think, if in fact this was a CIA-backed, sort of, I guess wouldn't be a coup, just an assassination, they had to factor in the possibility of, let's go with it. It's like I said, I'm convinced of one thing, first off. I don't know what's going on. I don't want to jump on anything. But the only thing I'm certain of is that I hate certainty in situations like this, right? So I'm on Twitter immediately. And, it's just 1,000 people there, right, who are certain of this or that conspiracy theory, so-called conspiracy theory. And I realize I don't care about the substance. I'm open to all of it. What I hate is the instant certainty, right? Because you know what, guys? We actually have time. We actually have time to sit back and say, all right, let's just hold off. Let's not commit ourselves immediately to something that we might, that's going to make it that much harder to turn around. Let's just take a moment, because sadly, we actually have time, because you got to keep in mind that nothing ever happens. There is no accountability. That doesn't exist anymore. Nothing's going to happen except Trump might win the election now. But you're not going to change that with your theories. You're not going to change. You're not going to have an effect. That's what I would tell, even people who have big followings on Twitter. Check your vanity and understand that, there are more important things in the world than you getting in first. And let's just take our time and consider the various possibilities. And of course, the most obvious possibility, though, having said that, the most obvious possibility is that, in fact, this was either staged by the CIA or, similar forces, or it was allowed to happen. And that allowed to happen narrative would have to suggest that this Secret Service was partly in on it, and it certainly, certainly looks that way when you see that people had spotted the shooter, were pointing the shooter out to police and others, right? There's a video of people on the ground screaming, just frantically pointing at this guy on the roof. He's in view of somebody filming with their phone. So he had to already be spotted by the numerous spotters that were posted on every other roof, right? This was not a dense urban environment. They had a very manageable number of rooftops in the vicinity, and, they were all supposed to be manned. You're supposed to own all the rooftops around something like this rally. So it leaves open the possibility that it was an allowed to happen situation. But how does that work? We have to ask. You have to get the security detail in on it. And this security detail, the secret security detail that is assigned to Trump, has to have a sort of standing order. Okay, if a shooter appears, let him get off a shot? I don't know. Is that, because that's what we saw. We saw the other snipers on the roof. Remarkable scenes. Somehow, they've spotted the guy, right? And at least a full minute after they've spotted the guy, they still haven't got Trump off the stage. They still haven't got. You think they would immediately get? Okay, we've got a shooter, man on a roof with a gun. Get the candidate off the stage. That's first thing, and you're doing that while your snipers are eliminating the guy. Somehow that doesn't happen. And they say, hey, it's good to see everybody here. Thomas White says Trump's a legend now. Oswald says Messiah in chief. Oswald says, what's the symbolism of a leader with an ear injury? I don't know. Is there anyone from Greek mythology that has something to do with the ear? Right? I mean, if they had hit him in the eye, there would be Oedipal, but that's not a good one. The golden golem of greatness, says Oswald. Elaine says, Adam Green says the ear injury is Talmudic. Okay, yeah, well, is Adam trying to make something substantial out of that, or just noting it? We'll talk about this, the ear, and the possibility of Trump's side, See, when I saw how Trump manfully handled it, how amazingly he handled it, I knew, there's going to be that right there is going to launch 1,000 Trump's behind it theories. And it is remarkable. I mean, they're around him, it's mayhem, and he's like, let me get my shoes. Wait a minute, fist up. For that to be the case, though, of course, and people are pointing this out, you don't have you're not going to have a conspiracy where you say, okay, nick me in the ear, right? Yeah, I'm going to stand there calmly, and you're going to, this 20-year-old Patsy, maybe there's a second shooter, probably not, though. There were too many eyes out there. But this 20-year-old Patsy, who's not, a crack shot necessarily, yeah, you just nick me in the ear, don't shoot me through the forehead. I would just go further, though, and say, okay, no, that doesn't kill the theory entirely, necessarily. And this is overthinking it, and I don't believe this, but we're just following these crazy ideas as they play out in your mind. Okay, let's say that it was, in fact, why would Trump do it, though? I mean, he has no reason to do it. He's riding so high, there's no reason to blow it by... But anyway, let's go ahead and explore this crazy idea that Trump's behind it. No, it's not necessarily true that obviously that they planned it to go play out like that. But they could have got this Patsy, and his instructions could have been, whatever, however they incentivized this for this mixed up young man. But the plan might have been just for him to go over there, shoot off a couple of shots over everybody's head, or even, shoot into the crowd, just shoot wildly into the crowd well away from Donald Trump. Then you actually hurt or maim some poor hapless rally goer and give the whole thing that gore that makes the production, the money shot gore that brings to home the whole thing. That could have been the idea, and then the guy could have been, and then the Patsy could have gone off script, That's the problem with Patsies who are mentally ill. Maybe you don't have that much control over them. Or he could have been such a bad shot that he was trying to put it into the crowd around Trump, and he managed to nick him in the ear. I don't believe any of that, but, that's just some thinking about how that might play out. One thing's clear, though, the controversy around Joe Biden's mental condition is out of the news cycle all of a sudden. Okay, of course, that inspires more conspiratorial thinking. But what strikes me about it is it improves Trump's position all the more because he has, I think, a lot of people have speculated this, his best chances now that Biden is just faltering horribly, wobbling to his inevitable fall. Trump would rather he just stayed in the race than he be replaced by somebody sentient. So what's happening behind the scenes, you wonder? Because all those people who want to get rid of Biden probably want to get rid of him more than ever now, even though nobody's talking about it in the press now, and that pressure is kind of off of Biden because everybody's just looking the other way. There are still a bunch of people, George Clooney and Barack Obama. I just hate that George Clooney and Barack Obama and these other idiots are like our political heavyweights, We deserve to die if George Clooney is throwing his weight around. If Barack Obama, too, who I've always thought was just fucking lightweight. He was propelled well beyond his merit. But these people still want to more than ever, want to be rid of Biden and want to have some chance to beat Trump in the next election. But if you think about it, I mean, these people weren't idiots or manic, whatever the hell's wrong with them. They should have reconciled themselves to a Trump presidency, just like in 2016. Let's just be the opposition. Because honestly, it's so hard for any president, whatever his plan and policies, whatever his goals, it's almost impossible to change this thing now. And they could have just let Trump come in 2016 and be seen as failing. But they started off on this road that has brought us here now. So those guys are still back there. And they have to be more than ever wanting to be rid of Biden and try to find somebody who can somehow beat Trump after all this, after this astounding event. But nobody's going to want it. Nobody's going to want to be the guy who goes up against. For one thing, Hillary Clinton still hasn't recovered mentally, psychologically from getting her ass kicked by Biden, by Trump in 2016, and nobody wants to be the second Patsy to go up against Trump and get their ass kicked against the supposedly buffoonish and stupid Trump. They keep trying to tell us how stupid the guy is. Forget it. So they're going to have trouble replacing Biden now. So it seems almost set, as difficult as it was before to get rid of Biden. I refuse to believe it could be that difficult. I mean, the Democrats pretty much do what they want with their primaries. But anyway, as difficult as it was before, it's going to be nearly impossible now to put anybody else up. And what are they going to do? Put Kamala Harris up there? Cackling Kamala is going to go against this, Trump, who's now a towering figure. Trump, whose acts on Saturday might have actually won over people from the other side. There's a whole theme out there that he's somehow winning over these women and young women who were, hopelessly leftist before, because it was such a manly thing to do, the way he handled it. His quick thinking, fist pumping response. It shows a political instinct and a land, again, that suggests there's a fix in. I don't believe that. Or just that we're dealing with somebody. This is a different animal. Trump keeps revealing himself. And I'm still, like I said, I'm still not convinced I want to vote for this guy. Here's the conspiracy theory that I find myself drawn towards. Now Trump is unstoppable. And what's the big problem with Trump? The problem I have with Trump is that he's maybe the most likely candidate to get us into a war, World War III on behalf of Israel. And say somebody's behind it, and who would be among the most likely suspects, of course, would be Mossad, with their little, with their little Fredo brother, the CIA, helping. But say it's the Mossad, and they decide they want to fake an assassination attempt, not to take him out, but this, knowing that they didn't know just how well it would work, but any assassination attempt brings instant sympathy to its subject, and also it absolutely kneecaps the opposition, especially in this environment when we have all these crazies who've been talking about Trump and, oh my God, we've got to be rid of him, and how and knowing how badly they would handle all this. You had to know that an assassination on Trump would be the biggest boost you could give him. So if this is a conspiracy, at this early juncture, and I'm, talking out my what here, but at this early juncture, my money's on Mossad, CIA, and the idea is not to assassinate him, but to to have a fake assassination. No, they didn't say shoot him in the ear, but like I said before, that part could have been a mistake. And this fake assassination attempt ensures a Trump victory, which will almost ensure World War III, and we go to war with Iran on behalf of Israel. That's a real possibility. But I have no idea what's happening. And the most compelling, maybe, argument against any sort of conspiracy is the old dictum, right? Never attribute to malice what can be explained by stupidity. And of course, nowadays you have to amend that. Never attribute to malice what can be explained by DEI. And that's definitely part of the story here, I guess. We have this woman. What's her name? I had it pulled up here. Kimberly Cheadle. And this is what she looks like, and it's so ridiculous, right? So you saw the Secret Service people, and they had two women there who looked like they were 5'2". And just from a basic, practical standpoint, because you saw what the routine is when they're getting him off the stage, surround him, and then get him off the stage. Well, why are you surrounding him? You're surrounding him so he's obscured behind you, so you take the bullet instead of him. And why would you surround a guy who's 6'3" with women who are 5'3", right? There's this big orange head sticking up above this scrum of midgets, and they got the women up front. And the guys and the Secret Service were more panicked than the target, Trump. It's just astounding. But why would you do that? And the whole idea with Secret Service and half of the idea with the Secret Service detail, especially the guys that are, all those people were right there, right? Those are the guys you see. And the routine used to be like a running joke, right? That you would see these guys at these speeches, and they stand there and they very conspicuously stand out at various points and just scan the crowd, right? And they're usually feds. They look like, the Smith character from The Matrix, right? They look authoritative and almost sinister, right? And they're sitting there and they're scanning the crowd and they're wearing ear sets. And the whole idea, obviously, is that they're there to be seen. And there's another set of people, probably many more, who are hidden here and there. And those are the guys you don't see who are, there to take out a shooter, for instance. Anyway, these are the guys. This is the presence they're giving, which is, okay, regarding the former president, possible future president, with these midget women, who can't holster their damned weapon because they're so freaked out. And here you see the woman, Kimberly Cheadle, and she doesn't look like she belongs in charge of something like this. And I can't help but think of all the girl bossery that's going on in movies and everything else and TV and, which is in fact part of this, right? All the stuff that we point and titter at, all the stuff that we, that frankly is kind of a distraction, but is kind of related to this. That Star Wars and all these action, girl boss action figures, very much is a part of this because they're doing it. In movies, it's like, okay, we know it's ridiculous to have movies where girls are flying through the air and kicking ass. But they're just movies, right? And you realize, no, they're doing it in real life. And not only are they doing it, they've totally thrown out the old standards where it was just basic stuff like, oh, well, a cop should be physically capable of engaging in a fight or not just that, but again, present the image of somebody who can engage in a fight and take care of themselves. They just throw that out, and they think, I think that people in power, especially a Joe Biden, who's never had any substance beneath it, he's just a purely political beast. To say they've come to believe it understates it. These are people who don't really believe anything. To them, they've spent their life on the surface living in the fake front of things for so long that they don't think that's the reality. That's the only reality they know and feel. And it's astounding to compare Biden, thoroughly political figure, and here he is, just a shadow of his former self, but still very much that guy, just out of touch with reality, because he's been bullshitting so long. With Trump, who, by the same token, is, I say, purely political. He's always been, purely political, even when he was a celebrity, celebrity real estate developer. An instinctively political man, and kind of a bullshitter, But, again, we're dealing with some different sort of animal, because along with that, you have this, you can't call it anything else but heroic courage. He's got giant orange balls, and I can't help but think of, world historic figures. If Trump had more substance, if he had more depth intellectually, and maybe morally, more depth, he would be, like Napoleon or something. And maybe this is the only Napoleon we get in our cheeseburger world that we live in. This is the best that we can do, but it's still remarkable. I mean, this man's not human. Even if this was a plan, All right, let's see what you fools have to say about it. Hey, Corey, Elaine, Tom Anderson. Tom Anderson is not. Yeah. Jay Walker, I thought of Van Gogh. I did think of Van Gogh, but The Port Moody Kid says, the Duran had a great review of ridiculous headlines from the usual suspects yesterday. And yes, CNN had the worst. Yeah, the Duran is very good. They're like the only guys I watch now. Occasionally I watch the Duran when something like this happens. Tom says, don't call me sexist, but I don't think women should be in the Secret Service. Yeah. Right? Didn't one have a freak out recently? A year or so ago, one of them had a mental breakdown and had to be restrained. They're just not. It's funny, just every, like I said, the old dictum that never ascribe to malice what can be explained by stupidity needs to be updated, contemporized, so to speak, to never ascribe to malice what can be explained by DEI. There is a problem, though, I do have with this. It's become a fast and easy explanation, right? And it just pops up now, like instantly. And I think it is a factor always. I think it's an obvious truth that DEI, has to wreck quality wherever it is. DEI has, no doubt, has already cost lives. It's already cost huge amounts of money, right? There's no doubt. You cannot take something like law enforcement, medicine, the armed forces, any dangerous job where physical safety depends on competence. You cannot take away standards on behalf of DEI in any such area and not have a net increase in physical injuries, death, and monetary cost. It's just not possible. So it's a thing, and and it's there all the time. Yet, like I said, the only thing I'm certain of is I distrust certainty. I distrust sudden certainty, and I just am tired of people being so trite and quick. And some people just this thing happens, and it's so confusing and crazy, and there's a 100 different roads of explanation before you. And people just think, what's easy, what's been working. Oh, DEI. So let's say it's just all about DEI, and the Secret Service has gone girl boss, and that's it, right? And you see, like I said, it's just a distraction. It's probably true, but okay, let's put it on the table, leave it on the table in front of us, and let's not just fucking get obsessed with it, all right? And let's not be trite and glib and instantly go with, something that's been kind of feeding our endorphins for the last year, the DEI is disaster thing. It's like with, can you guys hear that sawing going on outside? I hope not. Low power mode. Let's just put it on there. It's one component. But here's the thing about the DEI's role in this. This level of incompetence can't be explained by mere DEI, right? These are basic procedures that they're failing to follow, right? Letting the shooter take a minute before they fire on him, right? Not getting the candidate off the stage immediately. This is very basic stuff, So this speaks against the explanation of diversity and ineptitude over conspiracy, I think, in that, again, these are these failures are of a too basic nature. You know what I mean? That even, I've been in the military, and I've worked in, I don't want to say, not because it's super secret, I just don't want to be identified that closely, but, I've worked in places like the military where it's been brought home to me how process and systems make people smart. And you look at something like the military, which our military now is pretty inept, yeah. And diversity has a huge part of that. But what you learn in the military and other places is that you can have guys of average intelligence, high school graduates, not super smart, not dummies, just not, you don't have to have geniuses to run the most sophisticated programs if you have good systems in place, good procedures in place, and people, and you train. That's all you need, not all you need, because you still need basic levels of competence, but you don't need, everybody's IQ to be above 130 to run something like a nuclear submarine. I've met guys who worked in nuclear submarines, right? Guys who had important jobs there, who were good at their jobs. Yeah, these aren't geniuses. These are just, your basic white guys with mechanical aptitude and enough competence, to do things like to follow procedure above all. So, the DEI thing, I just get tired of it. Like I said, I'm so tired of the certainty. And it's not the substance of whatever you're pushing. I don't care about that. What I hate, and this is just personal reaction, is the certainty. Like, right, something happened 5 minutes ago, and there you are, fucking arms crossed. Yep, this is what happened. And all you guys who say it didn't happen this way are idiots. Shut the fuck up. Because, again, above all, there's no hurry. There's no hurry. So you go fucking commit yourself to something, jump off a fucking cliff. There's no fucking hurry, and I'm open to any explanation. In fact, I'd have to say, at this point, just having thought about it and just reading the news and not going any farther than that, the most likely explanation is conspiracy of some level. And we have to remind ourselves there are levels of conspiracy. There's the stand down, the possibility of stand down orders. There's the possibility of them recruiting this guy and bringing him forward. Or the possibility, and I think maybe more likely, that they can count on such figures appearing on the scene, and they have a plan in place to just let them, let your Oswald do his thing. Not that Oswald necessarily shot Kennedy. I didn't even know at this point. But, yeah. Corey Woke says the right wing is weak as fuck since they fail once again to capitalize on an event like this. It's possible that there are still people who don't know this happened, which is fucking incredible. Yeah. Tom Anderson writes simply, I'm. Okay, Tom, be cryptic. Tom says, I'm not falling for Trump again. He's still the same anti-white extreme philo-Semite that he was before he got shot. Yeah, I guess I'm not either. But I can't deny the remarkable pull that this event has, visceral pull it has on you. But yeah, I guess I still am of the position that one should not vote. One should not legitimize this corrupt process at this point. But forget that. That's not important. Who gives a fuck what we want, Tom? We are insignificant. Let us understand that. Above all, we are not going to change anything with our vote or our voice. Let us instead talk amongst ourselves and try and consider what is most likely to happen. And at this point, I think Trump's electoral prospects are vastly improved. It's difficult to see him losing, especially to Biden. And again, after this happens, any potential replacement for Biden is scared away. Nobody wants to go and get the orange crush now, So what is most likely? Trump will win is most likely. But will he? Either Trump wins or they have to commit a steal that, again, this so astounding that even our milquetoast ex-friends out there have to concede that it's electoral theft. So they'll have to go out in the open, in a sense, in their stealing of the election. And they'd have to be crazy, too, if they're going to steal it on behalf of Biden, who, is doddering. You remember, Biden wasn't that bad in 2019, but we were already talking about this guy's losing it. This guy's too old. This guy's going senile and decrepit. Look how Look how far he has dropped since then in the past 3 years. I mean, he's just steep downhill now. Another year, another 2 years. My God. I mean, the guy's literally going to be drooling and not making any sense at all. So they would have to be nuts to steal the election on behalf of Joe Biden. Right? Am I wrong? Am I missing something? Are they that bad, stupid, malicious, immoral that they would do it? And, well, no. I mean, think about it. Our problem with Trump, Tom, is that he, in fact, is not on our side. He's not what they make him out to be. He, in fact, is where it matters. He's thoroughly establishment. He's pro-Israel, idiotically pro-Israel. On economic policy, he's just another low-tax Republican. The only areas where he gives the establishment real trouble is, and I think this has inspired a lot of their malice, There's genuine populism behind him. There's a genuine movement behind him. It was the immigration issue that propelled him in 2015 in the first place, that kick-started him in the first place was, remember, his opposition to mass immigration. That's very real. He represents the prospect that the global, let's call it what it is, replacement theory, that he represents the real prospect that will be opposed in a meaningful way finally. And on the economic side, I guess he presents real problems for the establishment in that he will, he's not strictly a globalist. Economically, he's pro-tariff. He's almost pro-autarky. You know what I mean? Like nationalist. And the nationalism, such as it is, this is nationalism, right? Such a stupid thing that they made nationalism a dirty word in the first place. And now this is what they attribute it to, this liberal Republican. Again, yeah, no, he's still not my guy. And I need to resist the powerful pull of that imagery, right? I need to resist indulging in the Schadenfreude and falling in line. No, Trump still represents the most likely chance that young American men will be marching off to die for Israel yet again. So if, like I said, we have no fucking effect, let's not kid ourselves, we will have no effect with vote or voice. But if we did, I would say what we should do is, if we could try and influence things, our influence should be to try and force Trump to become a genuine populist, to force Trump to become a genuine isolationist, for lack of a better word, regarding foreign policy. I rather naively was holding out hope before that Trump would see how he had been betrayed by Israel and American Jews, and that Trump being, Trump, egotistical, vain, perhaps a bit impulsive, a bit emotional even, that would actually cause him to say, you know what, fuck these people, fuck them, how dare they, So if we could influence anything, I would say we should try and, what should happen, what I would hope what would happen now is that Trump's base, that the people, those people who go to those rallies, half of whom would agree with me, right? Because this remarkable thing has been happening since October 7th, is that we're finally we're talking about Israel. We're talking about the diaspora critically, and we're just, I'm not to be anti-Semitic, hateful. I'm not hateful. I don't hate anyone. But, I kind of think like a Jew thinks, like they're not us. So let us view them with, appropriate detachment. You know what I mean? So that can happen now. So among these people, and maybe Trump doesn't know what he's playing with, if he thinks he's going to get in office and then, put that idiot son-in-law of his in another, meaningful position and get us going to war for Israel, we should, we should take him down. What I was saying in 2016, I remember, when people were talking about, Trump, can we trust him? I remember saying, we need to be ready to betray him too. The whole thing with Trump is it takes on such an emotional air, right? And people are emotionally invested in Trump. We're pouring into Trump all of this understandable resentment we have against a system that's clearly evil and stupid and arrayed against us. But we have to be ready to throw him overboard. You know what I mean? If he's going to be a Napoleon, dare I say, messianic figure, we have to be ready for him to complete the whole arc, and that we, at the end of the day, crucify him if we have to, because it's about us. It's not about him. It's not about him. You know what? I got to pour coffee. I want to pour coffee. We're going to go over. We're going to do more than an hour. Yeah, we're going to do more than an hour. And I'm going to pour some coffee, and I'll play a short musical interlude. Right? Coach don't have anything set up. I don't know. Can you hear that? Probably not. I'll be right back. Thank you, 410. Thank you, Kieran. You never miss, dude. Never. That's 3 drums by 410. Yeah, I just had to let it play a little bit. It's like hypnotic. Beautiful, beautiful track. Thank you so much. All right. Yeah, so I'm reading through the commentary. Tom says, I'm not falling for Trump again. He's still the same anti-white extreme philo-Semite that he was before he got shot. Yeah. No, you're right. I hate to say it. I mean, I want, as I want, we want, something. We want something to hold on to. We want to, we want a ladder to lift us out of here, lift us on our rooftop. But it's not there with Trump still. I mean, damn it. It's just like in 2016, I thought, then he never rose to the occasion. He never genuinely rose to the to the level that he should have. I mean, I remember thinking just in terms of rhetoric. He didn't have to. He's still Donald Trump. He still talks in that clipped, silly way. God, yeah, it's just sad. He really, at the end of the day, he just shows for us the possibilities. If we could have just one, and this is why I hate all the milquetoast people on the right who are so glad to be rid of him because he's buffoonish, not because he's a horrible philo-Semite who's going to get us in war on behalf of Israel, has Jewish grandkids, and is captured because his dipshit skank daughter. No, not just because of that. Anyway, I lost my train. I just Bidened. My train of thought just Bidened out. Oh, hi, Art Bell. Good to see you. Bear says, Dennis, why do you hate all women? Indeed. You know what I say about women. They're the best and the worst. Port Moody Kid says that the police sniper stated that he had the assassin in his scope for 3 minutes and was not given Secret Service okay. Yeah, I've heard this, but do they even have to get okay? I mean, there should be a standing order to take out active shooter. You've got a guy. I mean, how much time do you have? You see a guy sighted in. Any second now, he's going to pull the trigger. Why would you even have a policy? Oh, yeah, but you check with us before you fire. You've got snipers on the roof. I'm skeptical that it's even a policy. Get it. You see a guy with the candidate in his sights, call us and we'll decide what to do. Yeah, I don't know. The mods took it down. You mean here, Port Moody Kid? I don't know. I have no idea. Do we have mods in here? Is anybody paying attention? You guys with the wrenches are mods. Here, let me wrench you. Wait a minute. I'm trying to throw you a wrench. Maybe that star there? No, I think that just... Anyway, I'll throw you a wrench as soon as I figure out how to do it. Tom Anderson asks, Dennis, how long until diversity renders it dangerous to fly? Well, it probably already has made it a little more dangerous. I don't instantly grab onto the diversity thing regarding Boeing, for one thing. This is why I just get sick of people being, like, again, lazy. And, once the DEI explanation for what's going on at Boeing takes hold, that's all these people talk about. There's still a lot of other factors in failure, system failures, incompetence, And what's happening at Boeing has a lot to do with the fact that upper management they have no engineers, they have no genuine airplane guys. And yes, they are, it has to be affecting quality. But in a place like that, I think what's happening more, if, DEI in effect is just costing them a shit ton of money because if you're putting less capable mechanics out there, they're fucking things up and you're having to rework them. In something like aviation, if you maintain level of inspection and quality assurance, right, you're going to be okay. You might end up spending a shitload more money redoing work. But if you keep that dam there, you'd probably be all right as far as keeping the planes in the air. But I mean, I don't get worked up about the Boeing thing just yet for reasons, but also, a lot of what's happened, once this thing gets momentum, Boeing, if it's Boeing, I ain't going. Two things are lost in all of this. It seems like all of a sudden Boeing planes are just falling left and right, landing gear and stuff. Two things are lost. One thing is that maybe half your airplanes out there are Boeing aircraft, maybe more. I mean, there's just Boeing and Airbus now. And I think Boeing has sold a lot more over the years and continues to sell a lot of airplanes. So what could be a crisis at the airlines is going to look like a crisis at Boeing and Airbus. Airbus is coming to fire too for some failures because, that's what you hear. The landing gear fell off of a Boeing plane. But, the other part is that these planes are, it's maintenance too. With landing gear, it's going to be probably maintenance. For instance, it's not going to be design. It's not going to be manufacture. If you've got a plane that's been in service for 10 plus years and the landing gear comes off, at the very least, I would ask people just wait to, it's probably not a manufacturing flaw. It's probably not a manufacturing error. But having spoken defense of Boeing, I'll also point out that somehow they're claiming they don't know who installed that door that blew off, which is not believable at all. I worked in the field in the past, and everything is documented. It used to be on paper, and when you sell an airplane, it comes with a giant stack of documentation. Who installed this, who built that, who inspected it. Yes, Bear. I don't know why I hate all women. I just guess I do because I'm just a creepy misogynist. Yeah. Tom Anderson says, I've noticed most career system people tend to be blank slatists when it comes to human potential and ability. Yeah, I don't understand why somebody who has the specter of uneven distribution of ability in front of them comes to believe that. But, oh, you say career system people? You're referring back to my idea that systems make people smart? Yeah, well, maybe that's a problem, what I just pointed out, that you have aircraft carriers being run by guys with IQs between 100 and 120. I think maybe what happens is guys don't, they come to think, oh yeah, no, it's not easy, but it's, anybody can do this if they just stick with the plan. And of course, that's not necessarily true, is it? Intelligence still matters, and other factors still matter. But I just know that, I see what's happening. You know, the thing I've been talking about a lot lately, of course, is the post-October 7th realignment on the right between Philo-Semites and anti-Semites, frankly. And the Philo-Semites, you know, coming out of the sort of sailor sphere, have this trite and kind of stupid, ironically stupid, sort of worship of IQ, or this overestimation of the effect of IQ. IQ obviously is immensely important, but this idea, you know, that it explains everything is where they're at. It leads to, among other things, it leads to submission to elites. It leads to submission to Jewish power. But also, anyway, it's just wrong. I mean, there's so many other things that come into play. And I was talking about, you know, you got 120 IQ guys running aircraft carriers. There's a good argument that, people with too high an IQ in these technical roles could be trouble, because they're it's in the same way that you put somebody who's not bright enough up ahead of them, like through DEI, putting somebody that's too bright for his job into a job has its own problems, obviously. And among them is psychological factors, I mean, I think I've seen elsewhere, and this is based on, maybe faulty personal impression, but smarter people have more complicated psyches, and more complicated psyches can be a problem in themselves, especially when you're doing stuff like running aircraft carriers. And don't get me wrong, the right system absolutely does make a massive difference, says Tom, but also Project 100,000 was the thing. And I assume by Project 100,000, you mean when they... I don't know what you mean. I think I know what you mean. Oh, McNamara's morons. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. No, yeah. No, systems make smart. It's just true. You have snipers. Your best snipers. They're not geniuses. They're not geniuses. Your best soldiers, your best leaders. They're not fucking high IQ whiz kids. And that's another thing about IQ. I mean, there's also, the word came up in connection with Trump, came to mind. Elon. Presence of mind. There's psychological stability. There's the ability to keep your head. There is, there are other factors, psychological factors, which the IQ worshipers kind of disregard. In part, they disregard them because the blank slatists have long tried to employ these facts, to make us believe that IQ is not that important, or that IQ isn't a factor, But, Tom, you're talking to one of McNamara's morons. No, I came in later, but I think I served with a few of McNamara's morons. We still had thugs running around when I was in. You still had guys who should have probably been in jail instead of the Corps. But Art Bell says, odd bit, Trump's shoes coming off. I suppose he wears slip-ons. The crowd being super calm. Was it a paid audience in a staged event? Not a paid audience. Don't weaken your conspiracy theory by forcing it to me. The crowd's not in on it. Oh, that would be crazy. What, we're going to get 1,000 people in on it? No, why? You just don't do that. There's no need for it. What, the guy who got shot in the head is in on it? No, not in on it. Again, it's not necessary. The thing with the shoes, wait, and then the fist pumping, it's suspicious. It is genuinely suspicious. And again, people will say, oh no, you're not going to have a conspiracy where, you have him shot in the ear. That part might have been off script, you know. Elaine Sabatino says, imagine what they'll do to an actual pro-white candidate. Yeah, no, they won't miss. He won't get nicked on the ear, will he? That shot will land. Yeah. The Port Moody Kid says, incompetence or complicity, no in between. Yeah, but that's a vast in between. Right? I mean, they're two different things, incompetence or complicity. And like I said, you know, let's examine the incompetence. That level of incompetence, the nature of it, it doesn't suggest just mere incompetence. I mean, it's not, you know, we're all laughing at the midget women and the woman, you know, not being able to holster her weapon and stuff, but that was insubstantial. That just looked bad, you know, talking about how they're too short to cover their candidate. Yeah, but that wasn't a factor, right? What was the factors that played that are supposedly arising from incompetence? Not firing on a sniper who's got the candidate in his sights and taking a whole minute. Not securing that rooftop. Not seeing that there's a ladder and a man climbing up a ladder. This is not just incompetence, you know. These are not Biden levels of incompetence. This suggests complicity. Again, I don't know. I don't even fucking care, I guess. All I know is I don't like certainty. I don't like simple certainty. I don't like people who say they know when they don't know. I would rather just mull the facts right at this point. At some point, you got to commit. At some point, because, you know, if it is a conspiracy, it should be exposed. You know. But we will see, perhaps. We'll see someday, you know. Maybe it's time to vote for RFK. Though he's awful on Israel, too, by the way. And he's a dipshit, shitlib on a whole array of things that we're not talking about because of all these other things, you know. You know, he could be a disaster. But one tantalizing possibility with who's got no chance, but let's assume he had a chance. One tantalizing possibility is that he would in fact get in there and start releasing the hounds. That is the previously hidden records of the Kennedy assassination and everything else. Tom says there's simply no way Trump loses now. Yeah, so I would say for us, if we're to at least pretend that we have some voice here, pretend that we can somehow influence things, I would say our only hope now is to try and force Trump to live by his word regarding foreign policy. Force Trump to do the right thing regarding Israel and Ukraine. You know, and he's almost good on Ukraine. He's awful in ways. He was involved in that latest deal, you know, giving them ideas. Oh, we'll call it a loan, you know. But he also says he would, you know, and I do think he has at least, you know, the vanity to think that he's a wheeler dealer and he can talk to Putin and bring this thing to a close because he's such a good negotiator. You know, so I mean, he could put an end to this whole Ukraine project. That would be awesome. I mean, just the one thing, really. Aside from the fact that he probably won't do anything about immigration at the end of the day, you know, you won't get your deportations, you won't get your wall. You'll just get better policies that's, you know, throttle the flow. That's something. That's not insubstantial, you know. But you won't get mass deportations. You won't get what you really need. You know, so the biggest problem is Israel and the potential for war on behalf of Israel. And it's just something you cannot discount. You've got to remind every time we sit down and talk about this guy, we're going to praise him or not. We have to say it. Yes, but, just think of that fucking Kushner ghoul standing behind him, right? We should see Kushner behind him every time, Of course, if I was Jewish, I would be saying the bullet missed him because we are chosen, and he is, this biblical figure that is going to save the Jews by nuking Iran. Somebody out there is probably going with that. Tom points out Trump got $100 million from Miriam Adelson. Really? $100 million? Don't tell me she gave him $100 million. Why is he taking the money? Why does he need that money? The guy, his campaign could run itself. I don't understand why they cost so much. For one thing, right? He gets free press. You know what I mean? He gets free publicity. He gets free ads. $100 million from Miriam Adelson, which just means, she's got him by those orange balls of his. Corey Woke says these people aren't going anywhere. Corey says, I never thought Trump was going to save us, and I don't believe it now. Yes, Trump won't save us, but there might be a way to save ourselves through him. Like I said, we should be ready to betray him when the time comes. Perhaps we can use him. Perhaps we can climb over Trump's dead body to save ourselves. Excuse the imagery. Not appropriate, Dennis, at this point. Tom was all aboard the Trump train in 2015, 2016. Still has a Manica hat sitting up in his closet. Corey says that YouTube is deleting comments. Do they? They auto-delete? I don't even know. I should know this. Tom says people don't know that virtually the entirety of the higher-ups at the FAA are former Boeing execs. Is that true? Art says, Dennis, do we get your thoughts on these songs? I just discovered Dane Donahue. I don't know anything about that. If he has anything to do with the Eagles, I probably won't like it. I'm not a big Eagles fan. Tom says he knows a guy who was an airline mechanic. He quit to deliver pizza. Said he made more money doing that. Your friend's probably bullshitting you, Tom. Well, airlines? No. Airlines pay well, I think. But it's a tough job. And they pay well, and they've got a good host of benefits. It's a good job as far as that goes. They don't pay enough. I think airline and manufacturing are all underpaid. They thinking of what they do, starting guys out at $25 an hour who do work that important. Yeah, it seems a little nuts. But your friend is sorry, no offense, but I think your friend is full of shit. Because I've actually done both of those things. I just admit it. I've done both of those things. So, no. Just, no. What the fuck? Tell your friend I slap him. But I've never worked for an airline, so maybe he's right. But there is definitely a problem with tradesmen, technicians, other people being underpaid. Everything's geared towards driving down wages. That's another thing I don't see Trump doing anything about. Everything is geared towards driving wages down, Even stuff like the rise of Uber and DoorDash, right? Everything's labor costs. We must drive labor costs down. It even still drives the In the U.S., at least, it still drives our demographic replacement. Art Bell says Canada reproduction rate 1.33 per woman, low enough to require 500,000 imported humans per year. Wasps are self-deleting, Dee Dee. They are. They are. I'm not a wasp, so fuck them. You were history's winner, wasps. Now you're history's dopiest losers. All right. I'm just reading the comments. Sorry. Elaine Sabatino says RFK is a global warming shill, too. Yeah, that's a bad thing. Anybody who buys into that's another thing that we don't talk enough about because we have so many problems. But I become convinced it's just a huge scam. I mean, and it's just a front for achieving all these other goals they want to achieve. But it's absolutely ridiculous. This anti-oil business. I think if they meant what they said, they would get behind nuclear. These global warming people, I mean, nuclear and dams, hydroelectric, I mean, those are the only things that work. Nuclear, you can put it almost anywhere, of course. Hydroelectric is limited, but, it actually works. Not like sun and wind, solar and wind power. But, they say that, somebody pointed out that Australia sells coal to China so that China can build solar panels and sell the solar panels back to Australia. So there's no benefit. China's burning coal. And they're not letting themselves be hamstrung by any of this nonsense. But Australia, instead of just burning their coal, trying to burn it as clean as they can, are letting China burn it massively, so they can buy shitty ass solar panels that are not going to work very dependably. I mean, coal's a lot more dependable than solar, I imagine. Art Bell says, the GOP obsession to seduce black voters. When under 10% turn out, Hispanics maybe 13%. Yeah, and Donald Trump has yet another dopey girl boss. Just don't hire women from these jobs, you idiots. I mean, just a good rule of thumb. I mean, there's going to be the rare female who can do it. 1 out of 10 maybe. Is worth consideration, but Trump has some girl boss in there. Giving him the same stupid advice he got before. Forget, focusing on white voters. Go after that, upping your Hispanic and black share. And he got increase. He's got increases in those shares. Just letting Biden do his thing, and just being Donald Trump without the pandering. And I think the Hispanics, at least, they respond to. He's a very Hispanic-like figure, man. Donald Trump. He's this larger-than-life figure. He's, macho man. Hispanic voters, at least Hispanic male voters, are going to kind of respond to that. I could imagine Donald Trump in Latin America, right? It could definitely be a Donald Trump in Latin America. He would just have to wear, boots and a buckle, maybe one of those hats. Corey says YouTube deletes comments in live chat now, and it shows no indication. They don't even let you know they're taking stuff down. Art says you got to use code words, dashes, to say edgy stuff on YouTube. Art says, Dale, Greg has a YouTube. Maybe he will do your show. Dale Greg. All right, I'll check him out. King Kush says methane is trapped in melting ice. Interesting. Okay, so are you a global warming proponent? I mean, that do you believe in global warming? Elaine says climate refugees are faking. Yeah, that's just another thing. Elaine says Trump will hire a bunch of women again who will betray him again, but at least he's not sexist and racist. Elaine, why do you betray the sisterhood? Why do you hate women? Why are you a self-hating woman? Trump with the big Latino mustache. I could see that. I could definitely see that. All right, we've gone way long, and I have to generally shut down around noon because it's too bad because we actually have people watching today. For me, this is not a bad turnout. So we'll go back tomorrow. Maybe we'll just talk about this some more, and I'll try and get my shit together and figure out what's happening. And not be an asshole. I'm sorry, Tom, that I offended your friend who works at the pizza place. But, I'm just so tired of these just, that's the sort of thing that gets traction. You know what I mean? Oh, you can make more money delivering pizza than working at American Airlines. No. Let us not distract from the very real problem that they probably are underpaying the mechanics at American Airlines, by just throwing bullshit out there. Tell your friend I want to talk to him. Stop it. Be responsible, dude. As a fellow former aviation person, I'm saying, just, be, I don't know, like I said, just, anyway. What do you guys want to hear? Anything? Is there anything you could stand to hear? All right. I'm just looking for an out. All right. Air? King Kush is an Air fan. Trying to think what's a good Air song. Here's an Air song that I always liked. I wonder if I still like it. I always rather liked this one. All right. Have a good day, everybody.